What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Embrace the Chase, and Amanda is pumped up. I'm excited to have her on tonight. For those of you that are just tuning in or you've been around a while, as always, we are interviewing 100 entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers over the next year to pick their brains, learn from their stories, see how we can apply it to our lives, and continue to make the world a better place. And I'm excited because tonight, I believe it's episode 28 is what we're already up to, is Amanda Rivera, who is awesome. She is a speaker. She is, the founder of Inspire Amanda, but her brand, Amanda Rivera, and she's partnered with a lot of really cool people. And just from what I'm seeing right now on Facebook, it's saying that you've been featured in a couple really cool places. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but is there anything you can add to that, Amanda?
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, what's up, guys? My name is Amanda. I am a Forbes and BBC News featured thought leadership coach. Also been featured in like Business Insider, HuffPost, and all those cool places. And I help turn millennial entrepreneurs into thought leaders and influencers in their space by helping them create and scale their personal brands. So I love doing that work because personally for me, like when I first started in entrepreneurship, I really identified with Positively Positive, and I was following like Mark and Angel's inspiration blogs, and I was going through a tough time at that time, and it was their inspirational blogs and their inspirational messages that really spoke to me at that time. And so for me, like thought leadership is creating these next generation of leaders who are going to put positive messages into the world and are going to speak to people like who I was like back then, who like really needed that message at that right time.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, let's kind of start from the very beginning. Can you kind of tell us your story? What even got you interested in doing this in the first place?
Yeah, for sure. So it started out, it's pretty interesting. So I have a master's in corporate PR, so that's like my background. And during the year of 2013, I was in like grad school. And so I was in my master's program, and pretty much like the shit hit the fan in my business and in my life. And my parents went through a really nasty divorce. My cousin Jessica, who I was really close to, she ended up passing away from meningitis within the span of 3 days. And a whole bunch of things just kind of went down in my life at the same time. And I remember being at her funeral, and I gave the eulogy, and I said, God forbid if I was to die at 24, I was 22 at the time, she was 24, can I say I lived a full and expansive life? And at the time, the trajectory I was on, I was working towards, high-end New York ad agencies and PR agencies. That was like going to be my career path. It was going to be 100% corporate America. And that changed the trajectory of my personal life as well. And it made me go deeper and ask myself, okay, if I'm going to do marketing, I want to do marketing for brands that I'm really passionate about, for businesses that are doing really good work in the world, and for and just feel really good every single day that I wake up knowing that like what I'm doing has meaning.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So then what are well, actually, before I even ask that question, I'm kind of curious, how did you get hooked up with people like Huffington Post and Forbes?
Yeah, for sure. So how that kind of journey went was I'm really a creeper online. Like I am a professional creeper online. And so I would go on Instagram or I'd go on Facebook, and I'd just reach out to people just blatantly, no fear, and just start building like relationships with people. And one of my really good friends, she was an Instagram influencer. She had like, I think like 30,000 followers at the time. I had like 700 followers. And I just reached out to her and I was like, I love the content you're putting out. It's kind of similar to what I'm putting out. Can we hop on a quick Skype call and just get to know more about each other and our businesses? And she was like, yeah, sure. What's up? That sounds fun. Because how I came off was very genuine. I'm not like I didn't have any agendas. I was just genuinely trying to make friends on the internet. And so, I hop on a call with her, and a lot of it just kind of skyrocketed and skyballed from there was just, like building one relationship and that relationship and doing introductions between people was really huge. And it ended up getting to a point where I did an introduction between the founder of GenWise.com and the founder of Millennial Magazine, two really big millennial-focused magazines. And at the time, I had a business coach who called me out and was like, here you are being a fear management business coach, which nobody knows what that is, and nobody knows what you do. And you're doing all these like high level PR introductions in the background, and you just introduced one of your friends to this podcast host, which got her on Forbes, or you just like did this other introduction, which got your other friend in HuffPost or whichever. And they're like, you do PR. and so I ended up re-switching up my personal brand and getting really specific, and that exploded my business. So when I switched to focusing on PR and like thought leadership, it just and like I ended up getting featured in like Forbes, BBC News that same year, for like my Facebook group and for Facebook Lives. And that was kind of the journey with getting connected with certain people. And this is something I tell my clients all the time is you just got to reach out. Like people are people. People love to connect with people, and don't be afraid to be a bit of a creep too, like in a cute, funny way, you know?
Sure it is. That there's a fine line.
Exactly. Don't like be a creep, but be a creep, you know?
I love it. That's awesome. So right now, what kind of projects are you working on, or what kind of I don't know, things are you a part of?
Yeah, for sure. So right now we are doing a build your own personal brand 10-day challenge. So it's with my co-founder Taya Roxon and Thinkific.com. Hey Marshall, what up? He said you two are rock stars. Marshall, you're the rock star.
I second that. Marshall is a rock star.
He is. See, and that this is part of the reason why we're doing like the build your personal brand 10-day challenges. There's so many amazing entrepreneurs who have like amazing messages, who are killing it in their space. And it's, you know, having the perfect personal brand to like really solidify you helps make it 10 times easier for you to get referred out, for people to recommend you, for people to collaborate with you. And it just makes it 10 times easier for you to grow your business, right? And so love that Marshall just hopped on, calling him out. Yeah, because it's entrepreneurs like him, like a whole bunch of us who are out there, tons of amazing millennial entrepreneurs doing the work and putting the messages out there. So yeah.
So this 10-day challenge that you're kind of talking about, so who is that really for? And this is a conversation Marshall and I've had before. There's a lot of people out there that I feel like want to build a personal brand, but feel like they don't have anything to add. They have no value. What kind of advice would you give them, and how does the 10-day challenge relate to somebody like that?
Perfect. So the 10-day challenge is specifically for who Tayo and I were like 2-3 years ago. And that was, we were really confused around like what our work was going to be here on Earth. We were confused on like what our personal brands were going to look like. And we felt that no matter how much like content we were putting out there and work that we were doing, that we still kept on running towards these roadblocks where people would ask, well, I don't really know what you do, or I don't really like, you know, like, what do you do again? Can you tell me? And it gets frustrating after a while. And for some entrepreneurs, that could really hit at your self-esteem. And so this is what this challenge is specifically for, is for that person who might even be scrolling through their news feed and sees, you know, this person say, oh, I just got featured in Forbes, or I'm happy to announce that I'm doing my first ever TEDx talk. And while they're scrolling, they're happy for that person. But in their heart, they know, man, I should be getting these opportunities, or man, I know I have a story. I know I have a business that's good enough. Why am I not getting media features and asked to speak at these events? That's who we did this challenge and designed this challenge for, is for that person who is the best kept secret in their business, who is an all-star in their business, who has a heart of gold and just needs to have the right personal brand to just juice them up, and the right pitching strategies to get featured in TEDx and Forbes, so that they can not only create a brand that's amazing, but scale it too.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two.
Hey, Shan.
Shan's on. What's up? Just bringing everybody on over here.
Yeah, feel free to share this video. We're just like having like a really fun chat out here.
Marshall, you're saying I need to do this. Do what, man?
Yes, Marshall, join the challenge.
Oh, the challenge. 1,000%. 1,000%. So now that Marshall's on, he'll probably chime in on this as well. But I have a follow-up question for you, Amanda. How, and this is more towards you figuring out your specific niche. What kind of advice do you have for people who are just passionate people in general, just pumped up? They just want to provide value to people, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to niche down. How did you find your specific niche, and what advice would you have for people?
Okay, here's the kicker. There's two types of personal brands out there. There's the keyword personal brand, and then there's the topic focused personal brand. Your job before you even get started is to figure out which personal brand camp you're in right away. So what's the difference between both of the camps? The keyword personal brand is the one that I like to call, if you want to start making money right away online, focus on a keyword personal brand, because you don't have to build up any momentum around it. You could just jump into that personal brand. There's already audiences built out for it, and it's super clear, super easy what you do. And what I mean by that, a keyword personal brand is like a Facebook ads consultant, a personal brand coach, a sales funnel coach, someone where it's super specific, keyword driven, what they do, where you would enter in that keyword, I'm looking for sales funnel help. Boom, they pop up, right? That's a keyword driven personal brand. The second type of personal brand is the topic focused personal brand. And this is for the ones who I like to call my woo-woo spiritual guru peeps, where they call themselves like a happiness, abundance, fluorescent, mindset shifter, consciousness activator coach. That is actually like a topic focused personal brand where you're bringing up a topic that you're being the expert in. So say, for example, Jonah Berger, he is an influence expert, right? And so he can be, oh, thanks, Marshall. So he can be on stages at speaking events. Media outlets will come to him as the influence expert, right? And so they'll ask him questions around that specific topic. And so if you are someone who feels boxed in by your niche and you hate that you're in this camp where you're giving people what they want, right? And then in your programs, you're giving them what they need. So that's what a lot of people experience, where they feel like they're putting on a different brand to attract in their clients and then actually give them what they need. This camp, if you're like hating this camp and you're like, I don't want to do that, I just want to tell people what I do, then you're in the topic personal branding camp, and that takes longer to educate your tribe on why they would need your services. And so that's where you run into people saying they're this blah, 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 like creative name coach. And people say, well, I don't know what you do. And then for years and years and years, they have to build up why somebody would want to do that. And Marshall's like, so what is a combo of both called?
Great question.
So someone who is doing a mixture of both. That's what we called magnetic personal branding. And that's the signature branding method that Tayo and I are actually teaching in the challenge. Is a lot of times people feel boxed up. Yeah, he's like, I'm trying to be topic based around a keyword live. Perfect. Because you want to be able, when you pick your name for your personal brand, you want to be conscious about how your ideal audience is going to interact with it. A lot of times in the two camps, like this camp is really focused on what the audience wants. This camp is really focused on what they want and what they want to be known for in their personal thing. But if you want to really mold the two and get the benefits of both of them, is you want to get crystal clear on what your audience wants, and you got to ask yourself the question, what is it that you want to be known for? Like if you were to write your epic bio that in like 5 years from now, like you're about to have this keynote speaking opportunity on this big TEDx stage or wherever, even like a month or year from now. Let's just say for shits and giggles, this is your epic epitome bio. How would you describe yourself and what would you want to be known for? Like, what is the type of legacy that you want to leave here? What is it that you want people to say about you and what you do? That helps you work backwards so you figure out how to call yourself now. So I had a client, she really wanted to work with celebrity clients, online celebrities, like influencers, and she was like, that's just who I want to work with. And so she ended up labeling herself a celebrity mindset coach now. Thanks, Rachel. She ended up labeling herself a celebrity mindset coach now because whatever you want to call in and whoever you want to be, you got to label yourself that now and build that brand up now, because people are going to respond to you the way you define yourself. He's like, more of the world needs to know this. Yeah, exactly. Like, people are going to respond to how you define yourself. And the quickest way to really embody the you, your higher self, the you that you want to be, is to claim it now. And so some people are like, well, but you don't work with celebrity clients yet. Why would you call yourself a celebrity mindset coach? Because you have the intention and you have the heart and you know without a fiber of a doubt that you're going to be working with celebrity clients, then you need to freaking call yourself a celebrity mindset coach and make it happen. Think and Grow Rich. It's persistence. You know, like, if you 100% believe in what your end goal is going to be and you put a line in the sand and say you're going to go after it, then go after it with all your heart and make it happen and just declare it. Like, there's no middle ground in this. Like, just declare it and go after it. And I think to answer your question, that's why a lot of people feel boxed in or feel like they're in the wrong niche or feel like their brand feels like a mask over them, is because they haven't asked themselves the question, what is it that I want to be known for, and just declared it and go after it. A lot of times people are afraid because they'll do work in this world that they feel where the money is versus where their heart is at. And the thing is, you can literally create a personal brand on any topic. You could be talking about dog pads, right? You could be a personal expert on dog pads, like puppy pads, like literally be an expert on puppy pads. And then you would have like Petco reach out to you and say, like, could you do a seminar on puppy pads? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could be an expert on anything. The key, and this is where most people mess up and where people get frustrated, where they say like, oh, my niche is too general, or oh, my brand is too general. It's because you're not having the right strategies behind your brand. If you want to be a happiness coach, go deeper. What's the deepest part of happiness? What's something about happiness that gets you fired up? Then have the right strategies and start putting yourself out there. So you're getting featured on summits, you're getting featured in Mind Body Green, you're getting, you know, collaborations with like big conferences where you're just talking about happiness over and over and over again. How have we not linked up yet, Amanda? We're linked up now.
I love it. Yeah. I'm about to walk off screen, and forgive me. This is super unprofessional. My computer's about to die, so I'm just going to grab my charger right over there. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to ask the question that's the elephant in the room for a lot of people building a personal brand that have just started. At what point in time and how do you think is the best way to start monetizing? Because I know some people do it in different ways. They just create courses that really don't add value, but they're just trying to make a quick buck. And then there's people that make amazing courses, but don't have the audience yet. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I'll answer that while you get like your computer. Okay, so guys, if you are trying to monetize your personal brand and you're trying to figure out like, right, patience. If you're trying to figure out how long you should wait before you monetize it, what I'm going to say right now is, one, you got to really understand you. I don't think enough people spend time understanding themselves. Like, people will jump into entrepreneurship before they even like can acknowledge that they truly know themselves. Like people will jump into entrepreneurship and say, I'm this personal brand, especially personal brands, and say, I'm this or I'm that. And when you ask deeper and you ask, well, what is it that you want to be known for? And why did you choose that personal brand? They'll 9 times out of 10, they'll say, because I think it's popular, because I know an audience would go after it, because, you know, like I saw Richard Brunson do it. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think what's super key is getting a journal, getting a mindset journal, getting a mindset coach first. And this is a little off the deep end, like people would think I'm crazy, but I really truly believe you should get a mindset coach first, just to get like your mindset in order before you start this entrepreneurial journey. So that, because I'm telling you right now, if you have your mindset in order and your mindset on fleek, you're going to be able to make 10 times stronger decisions than if you're just in fear scarcity mode, trying to piecemeal strategies together and sign up for every opt-in because you are like afraid, right? Because you don't know yourself, right? So I would invest in mindset coaching first, and I would invest in really getting to know yourself first. And then from that space, from a really strong, confident space, then you can monetize. Then you can ask of your audience. Then you can say, hey, I have something of pure value because I confidently believe in it. I know it. I'm amazing at it. Oh, Jim Lutz is your mindset coach. Like Justin Blackburn's my mindset coach. Shout out. Yeah, every single influencer I know has a mindset coach. I do not know a influencer who is really making it who does not have a coach or mentor. Like, heads up. So that's first one, is like, get yourself a coach. And then secondly is whatever you decide is going to be your level of expertise, figure out the problems in that area. I think a lot of times people create courses or programs because they think it's cool, or they think it's fun, or like whatever, or because they think people would want it. Go be a negative Nancy. And this is where like being a negative Nancy could actually like help you a little bit, is go be a negative Nancy and go collect a shit ton of problems and go just focus on everything that's wrong just for a little while, so you can collect what your courses are going to actually be on, right? So like what I do with my content is, whenever I write something about personal branding or about influencer marketing or brand partnerships, I'll write all the shitty problems that come up in those spaces, and then I turn those into headlines for my Facebook Lives or my content. Boom. And it speaks directly to my audience. They're dealing with those same problems. And when I sell them something now, it's something they actually want. Like when Tayo and I decided to do Thought Leader Academy, which is an amazing 3-month group coaching program, which is being launched with this challenge, right? This challenge is promoting Thought Leader Academy. And we realized that there was so many amazing voices and personal brands out there that just didn't have the right strategies to get their messages in mass media and to get TEDx opportunities. Like they just didn't have the right strategies, but they were awesome. And so one of the biggest pain points that made us actually like, okay, we got to jump on this idea now, was in my old Facebook group, I posted a question just for shits and giggles, and I got a whole bunch of comments, just whole bunch of comments on that one question. And I was like, whoa, I just unleashed the Kraken right here. And it was, the question was like, where, it was something around speaking opportunities, where to find your first speaking opportunity. And people were telling us all their problems around like public speaking and figuring out pricing and negotiating their speaker fees and their reel, and then, how to like actually be big enough that they can be picked up for keynote speaking. And we're like, Tayo and I looked at each other and we're like, oh, this is our coaching program now. Okay. And that's how you do it. That's how you monetize. And you can, start that sooner, later. It all depends on you, But the two criterias you need first before you monetize is 1, your mindset, knowing who you are, and then 2, having a big enough problem that enough people have.
I love that. Just that right there, for anybody that is watching, replay that. I'm going to go watch that again. That's fire. I'm going to be a little selfish now and ask you another question kind of towards that. Or I guess, I don't know, basic. No, I don't even know what type of question. I'm just going to ask it. All right, so Ty Lopez. People love Ty Lopez's courses. But here's a question I have for you when it comes to somebody creating a personal brand. I'm going to use Marshall for an example right now because Marshall's live brand is awesome. And a shameless plug, Marshall is my coach. So I love it. But the question I'm going to ask is, Ty doesn't necessarily do everything himself. What he does is he finds the problems, because he mentioned at the Thrive conference that he polls his audience regularly, finds out their problems, but then he finds a bunch of experts and he puts them all together and gives them to his audience and says, these people give your solutions. And he packages up in a nice, neat bow. So I guess my real question is that strategy something that you think a normal person who's building a personal brand should do? Does it add them?
I do that shit all the time.
Okay. I didn't know if it was just like secret sauce or if that's something that's going to hurt somebody's own personal brand.
No, at all. It actually grows your personal brand real quick. So like my favorite thing to do is I love to do summits and challenges and bring on a whole bunch of guest experts and speakers to really oomph up that challenge. And I just did a mini course with Lena Elkins. It's called the Influencer Magnet. You should definitely check it out. And we literally, how we built out that course was we did a 90-minute masterclass on influencer marketing. And then we did a 5-day challenge where we interviewed 5 awesome, amazing guest speakers around that topic. And then we kept the recordings. So we took the recordings down in that Facebook group challenge, uploaded it to Vimeo, and then packaged it as a course. And now it's like a $297 course. And it was like, there you go, super easy. And I think collaboration is where we're all really headed to. If you're in a competition mindset, this next generation of entrepreneurs, thanks. This next generation of entrepreneurs aren't about that. And the ones that are, like, I don't, not to be mean, but I don't see them lasting long, is collaboration is like the fastest way for you to grow. Right? Like if you're just doing everything on your own, you're going to go crazy and you're going to miss out on bigger opportunities, right? So why wouldn't I collaborate with someone who has a similar audience as me, or an audience that's like slightly outside of my normal circle, and grow that way? Like some of the things like I like to do for challenges is when I like to hook my speakers up. So if you're hopping in one of my challenges and we're doing an epic challenge, I brought on we brought on like a brand partner. So like Tayo and I brought on thinkific.com to be our brand partner. And so with thinkific.com, we're doing 2 challenges. We're doing this challenge right now, and then we're going to do another challenge in the new year for the New Year, New You peeps. And the one for the New Year, New You peeps is getting sent to Thinkific's email list. So they're looking at what we're doing now, and for our next challenge, which we're doing officially with Thinkific, which they're going to send it out to their email list. And so for us, for all the speakers that are in this event, you're helping us out by speaking to our audience. So we're going to hook you up. So every single person we're recording, we're catching their recordings in the challenge. We're putting it in the group coaching program with links directly to their opt-ins and to their sites and to like their programs as well. So they're getting marketed within the program. And on top of it, I love showing people who like are in my tribe to other podcast owners and other media feature opportunities. Like just yesterday, I had one of my friends, he has a Forbes HuffPost featured podcast, and he took a look at the bios, the speaker bios in the Build Your Own Personal Brand Challenge. He was like, whoa, you brought on some really big people. And he was like, Amanda, can you introduce me to XYZ person? And I made those introductions, and now they're getting featured on a Forbes featured like podcast. Like, so I always make sure, always make sure, and same with Tayo, like we always make sure that we like hook our speakers up because you're helping us, and also make it a really collaborative opportunity where, you know, everybody that subscribes, we share the subscriber list. Like, we're not gonna like hoard it. Like, if you're one of the guest speakers and you're hooking us up, we're gonna give you a copy of the email list as well. Like, they subscribe to see you too. And so I think working that way, one, makes it more fun because now you have 12 people, including me and Tayo, like sharing out a challenge. And you also have an opportunity where like you get to hang out with your friends. So
that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is super cool. So then just out of curiosity then, so if you ask somebody, for instance, like I'm just going to say Ty Lopez, because I just said his name, to come onto your whatever, the event that you're putting on, are you paying them? Or are you basically telling them, I'm giving you free exposure and anything you get out of it is yours? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so with these free challenges, because they're free challenges, it's exposure based. If it was a paid challenge or if it was like a paid conference, then that's a different story. And then you could do like speaker fees and stuff like that. But for online summits, like how I like to do online summits differently is I like to make them very Facebook group focused so that people are also following their personal pages, and it's really easy for them to follow all their stuff. And so it's not just like a summit being held in the email that's pre-recorded that not everybody's seeing. No, like we do it live. We we like hook them up with stuff, and we make sure that it's super valuable for whoever's involved.
Awesome. I love it. And I do apologize. I told you to be 20 to 30 minutes. And we're 30 minutes, so I want to respect your time. So last question, you can make this as short or as long as you want. What's on your heart or what's on your mind right now that you either want people to know about you or a specific cause?
Yeah. So for me, one of my big things that's on my heart is actually with mental health, depression, and suicide awareness. So specifically around like millennial male and suicide, like young male suicide, because the suicide rate is so high in young men. And for me, like the reason why I show up and why I do this work and why the focus is so heavy on thought leadership is, you know, entrepreneurship. Not sure if most people realize it, but entrepreneurship is a platform. Entrepreneurship with greatness comes great responsibility, right? And there's actually a missed opportunity where I think a lot of people focus on like the 20K months or like the Lamborghinis or, you know, like the, you know, trying to get like a Grant Cardone lifestyle in like 30 days, right? And what I see, especially with thought leaders with heart, so when you lead with heart, is you end up creating space for people to lead with heart as well and to not feel alone. So how much time do we spend on our phones scrolling? The average person spends most of their life scrolling. So someone who is really depressed, who is having mental health, or who is suicidal, they could possibly be scrolling through their news feed, scrolling through their Instagram feed. And I'm really conscious about what type of messages are being put out there that they would be scrolling on. And so with entrepreneurship, just imagine if you're growing up all these amazing entrepreneurs who have positive messages and are supporting themselves in really exciting ways. You just create more positive in the world. And personally, I've ran into so many situations where I've had people reach out and say, you know, that message came at the right time, or I needed that. And so like, it's just creating a ripple effect.
That's awesome. No, it's so true. That's such a great point, and I'm glad you ended it with that because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. People just, they're scrolling through, and I don't know how many times I've heard coworkers at work mention, they see something and they tell everybody around them. So it's almost like the old adage, smile to somebody, you never know if it could change their day.
Yeah.
People reshaped how I think things now. You never know what a Facebook
It's
says.
like the whole pay it forward, content.
That's awesome. Well, perfect. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
Guys, who are watching live, all her stuff is not linked right now below, but it is going to be linked literally probably 2 minutes after this. So please go check out the 10-day challenge. Please go connect to her personal Facebook page. This is definitely Amanda. She is who she is. She's not different off camera, so this is incredible. Thank you so much.
I'm just as crazy and goofy off and on camera, and I speak in weird voices. No.
Oh, yeah. Be creepy. I'm just going to use that as my new post for now. Be I'm just messing. Thanks so much, Amanda, for being on. Would love to see you and Marshall connect and do something sometime.
Yeah.
You guys content. Good stuff. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
What's going on? Maybe see ya.